Welcome to Unleash Your Inner Goldilocks, how to get it just right. Today, we are going to do this program a little differently. In the interest of getting things just right, the topic of conversation is going to be about how do we get love and marriage and long-term relationships just right. And it works out differently for different people. And as life evolves and life circumstances evolve, that too evolves and takes its natural course. So let's talk about how to get love just right. Take it away, Robin.
Well, first of all, I want to acknowledge this is a very special day where Kas and Mike are they are anticipating the celebration of their anniversary, and which is coming up in just a couple of days. And so what an appropriate way to do that, and just witnessing the love and care and concern between Kas and Mike has really been an inspiration as their journey has evolved in a different path than what they preferred and would have chosen. But yet, even in the midst of that different path, they are still showing love and respect and care and concern to each other. My path evolved differently. My husband ended our marriage about 4 years ago, after 34 years, and lots of ups and downs, lots of ups and downs. And I thought, oh, this is another down we're going to weather, and we didn't. And but yet, even in our state of non-marriage, I hate the D word. I try to avoid it as much as possible. There is still respect, and there is, care and concern for each other. And I believe that even in these moments of where one party would prefer a different path and works for a different path, we can still allow other people their choices and still have respect, and then continuing on with a beautiful life. So again, as Kas started this program, there are different paths in life, and many paths we walk that we wouldn't choose, but yet it's part of our growth and part of our experience here in mortality, and we help each other along the way. So do you want me to popcorn this over to someone else? Like, okay, Marquese, my delightful, absolutely wonderful friend, I'm passing the baton to you.
All right, thank you. What an honor. What an honor to celebrate you and Mike, and what an honor to celebrate love. One of the things that I like, love flows through this part of who I am, and it has been the perfecter inside of me. And one of the things that I recently learned is that there was a study done. I haven't researched the study, I've only heard about it. They did a study of energy and frequency. And in doing so, we are generally taught that love is the highest frequency. And ironically, this particular study came back and said there's actually a frequency much higher than love, 4,000 times more powerful. And I was kind of like, well, what is that? And what they got down to was authenticity. Authenticity being more powerful than the frequency of love. And what was beautiful that I learned is that you really can't even love unless you're authentic. Authenticity is a necessity for our expression in life, for it to be real. Otherwise, it's just pretend. It's just acting. It's just a show. And no matter what others perceive, no matter what we are engaged in, that still small voice on the inside of us is telling the truth. That space of authenticity. And one of the things that I love about Kas and Mike, you guys have been authentic, openly authentic. When it's beautiful, it's not beautiful. When it's silly, it's not silly. When it's glorious, and now in a shadow or part of living where it's just not exciting. Not exciting. It's part of our journey. And watching you two from a distance really mentors me. It's been helping me look at as I re-engage in love, how do I want to be? How do I want to show up? How do I want to be authentic? How do I want to allow? How do I want to, like you and Mike, create your own language together that's a mix of languages to make sure you understand one another? Because what else is there other than authenticity in our experience, which makes it whole, which makes it full, which makes it worth living? And it doesn't exclude the challenges that come along with that process. And just cracking 50 years old, 51 now, I'm more aware that that's what it's really about. So thank you. It's been beautiful watching next anniversary coming up here. And I'm going to pop it all over to my girl, Precious.
Yay. Thank you. I am so grateful to be here as well in this circle. It is an honor, as you call it. And love is always such an appropriate topic. And I had just been reading a book on it recently. It was a thin one. I was curious. And one of the points that the author pulled out that I really support is it's our greatest need. Okay. So we all have such a deep well of need for love, and that comes through acceptance, respect. There are a lot of forms it takes, but love is the key. And yet we have such selfish traits that sabotage it. And so it's like what we need the most, we find ways to miss out on it for other personal issues and reasons we may have. But what I appreciate with Kas and Mike is their selflessness, because to get what you need so much, you need to at least know how. And being able to be selfless as opposed to selfish, caring for the other, receiving the other, coming from different backgrounds, but yet honoring the differences of each other and honoring yourself. That's self-love and that's other-centered love, however you want to call it. That's amazing because that's what we need so deeply. And yet sometimes without knowing it, we have ways of sabotaging it through our selfishness. But I honor this couple today because you seem to have gotten it right. And I just remember one of the things you said before is about how you called it something, but just sitting together, whole space. I don't know, maybe that was it. Just, you don't have to talk. We can just sit and we hold hands. I just think he's a nice dude. You're a wonderful person. But it's these qualities, simple, but tried, true, and proven. You've gotten that right. So you really could be giving us all a lesson too, because some of us are still making our way. It's a big space. And people make choices, and sometimes those choices can hinder a healthy growth and development of a loving relationship that can weather time. Not all of us are there, but you are. You are. And it speaks so loudly without you saying a word. It really speaks so loudly. So I honor that. And I honor you all more than you know.
No, it's
shoot
okay.
it to you.
It's okay. Hearing everybody speak just really confirms the energy I felt when I even got the invitation for this. First and foremost, congratulations, Kas and Mike, for what you have built, because it is so unique and priceless. And when I first met you and heard the story, I was at a really dark period of my life. I've never been married, no kids. And I literally had just said a prayer. Is this even real anymore? I was going through just my own love matters, right? And not to make it about myself, but rather show the strength of what you have encompassed in your life as this amazing human. And Mike's story. And it inspired me so much. I actually did a session on it that I posted on your relationship and how special it was. And it is divine. It is so blessed. And it has inspired every single person on this call. And that's few of many when I say that. So first, I just really want to say congratulations, all of my love to both of you, and happy pre-anniversary. Every day's an anniversary when you get something like this that the two of you have. So with regards to the topic of love, I was a little conflicted on what I was going to say today. I did a podcast yesterday with a very high-level cybersecurity professional. And working in the cybersecurity industry where you're on duty 24/7, looking at very hard and heavy things that are not love related. And I'm a love bug. It's hard. So to Marquese's point, and I love that you brought that up because I was actually going to talk about that. So you must have read my mind. Love is not the highest frequency from that recent study. It is authenticity. And authenticity is something that we really need in this world right now across the board. And, just seeing kind of the love that makes it, whether it's in a spouse relationship, a family relationship, friends, colleagues, whatever. It's always the people that are the most authentic with one another that lasts the tail of time. And so I really think that even the way you set this up was so authentic and just really speaks to everyone's personalities that joined today. And it's a breath of fresh air. And I have been preaching this and also saying, I think this is also about a self journey and self-love, self-worth. What have we found in our own journeys, and how can we give that love and immerse it back to others authentically? And I think that only the people that have truly gone down that really kind of dark night of the soul and gone through the depths of very low times can be the ones strong enough when they're really showing that authentic love to someone who can't see the light, who can't see, that it's going to get better. And this is going to circle back around to you, Kas. I'm going to try not to cry when I say this. To be someone's strength when they can't see their own strength is the most authentic gift of love you could ever give to someone. And I have seen you give utmost strength and class and grace and work immense hours under immense pressure, and no one would even know the things going on in the background. And that's just a testament to your love, because meanwhile, I'm sure on the flip side, Mike's looking at you like you need to go work. You need to go work. I could see him doing that because, in his eyes, he thinks you're probably doing too much for him. Typical husband, right? But it's just a beautiful thing. And I just want to say thank you so much and congratulations again, because these types of conversations need to happen more often than not. I feel special to be a part of it. And I also want to encourage anyone out there who may be in my industry, because I have to preach it because I'm not seeing it enough, to focus on love and what we are protecting. It is vital at this time. So thank you. I just wanted to say some of that.
Thank you so much. It is amazing to hear your thoughts, and very touching, very moved. Mike and I are so grateful to have so much love and real relationships in our life. And the secret to going through what we are going through is having invested in these relationships around the world, where no matter what's going on in our life, there are our loved ones filling our cup, so that when we feel empty, it still runneth over. And so for that, thank you.
One of the things that really impressed me about Kas and Mike is, if you were to look at them on paper, they're like opposites, white, person of color, from the US, from the country very different from the US, from, a Christian background, from a Hindu background. And so on paper, they look like they're just polar opposites. But because they have been able to tap into the things that are human and beyond these items on a checklist, the items on the resume or on the demographics, they have surmounted the differences in their demographics because of their psychographics and their humanity, their shared humanity. And to me, that is really a testament that the problems that our world is facing right now are completely surmountable. They're completely resolvable. If you can see demographics as opposite as Mike and Kas, come together through humor, through patience, through boundaries, through caring for each other. Caring reminds me of a line from The Music Man, where she says, trying to find who's Mr. Right out there, that he cares about her more than himself, but cares about us more than her. And I thought that was really beautiful. And I think this transcending of demographics to the merging of psychographics, I think that is what Kas and Mike emulate. And it absolutely can be a role model for the world. So
That's such a beautiful point, Robin. Such a beautiful point. And one of the things that I appreciate is this, it's an intelligent type of love. Sometimes we are, I'm going to say sometimes a bit emotionally immature, and we only want the googly eyes and the butterfly stomachs. I mean, come on. There are times we've got to push through. We've got to be mature in this. And that's not a lower frequency of love, it's even deeper, that I am so committed, so loyal, so you centered, and you are me centered in the sense of promoting our love. It's an intelligent type of love. And that's what fuels and continues, because emotions fluctuate, moods change. But when you're committed to principles and practices of promoting love in the relationship, it's such the highest frequency, I'll say. And I'll even touch on with this authenticity. I just think so much of that is still one of the layers of love, because sometimes the reasons we are not authentic is we don't know if we'll be accepted. We haven't accepted ourselves. And when others are not authentic, they're struggling with the same thing. And but to be safe, that's a key word for me lately within my new line of work. Kas, I'll have to update you. But safety, there are some people we feel safe to be ourselves around, and that's such a gift, because that's when we actually can be. We can let the layers come down, the walls. And so I see this as a very intelligent type of love. It's a decision, it's a practice, it's a loyalty. And I also see them as being very safe to be in each other's presence. And they create that safety because it's safe to be around them for myself as well. And not everybody gets that title for me, because not everyone is a safe space. But I appreciate seeing that lived out, because as you said, Maggie, in the beginning, sometimes people are like, is this even real anymore? Do people really, and it's so surface and superficial on some levels, that is based on mood and just whether my emotions are high. But this has shown that real love goes the distance, and that it never stops. So always, as you continue to live this light, it never stops. And I love that, because who wants to imagine an abrupt end to love? It just will always continue. And who can stop it? No one. So anyway, I'll ping pong it if you're ready. Oh, Marquese. And if not, I'm Maggie.
Yeah, it's really good. I love a lot of what you said, Precious. I was going to take a second to honor Mike, but I think I want to honor you both in the context that, number one, Kas, whoever she ends up being, she's going to have to spend some time with you. It's just what it is. Number two, safety and the context of the little boy, little girl, and the two of you being able to come out at any point in time. That's safety. That's love. That's freedom. That's living. That's what I must have. Because that ability to be free, unashamed, I used to study the scriptures, and they would say, about Adam and Eve, when they sinned, they put on clothes because they felt like they could no longer be seen. But prior to that, it was just innocence of life. I feel like two of you really mastered loving to the degree that the innocence of life could exist, and that's what I want. I really admire that playfulness, that youthfulness, that vitality. So thank you. Mike, my friend, thanks for being a role model, man. Kaz's ability to move throughout life freely is a reflection of your love and grace and protection. I know that. I see that. I studied that from a distance because a happy woman tells me a lot about the man. It's something I've known for decades. And watching her and seeing your lightheartedness and fullness of love has been a model for me and something I aspire. I check within, literally, because I respected that much. So, thank you. Maggie, if you got more, I'm good, but thank you both.
I also want to say some words to Mike. First of all, thank you for sharing, Kas, because I've seen men be very selfish with their wives in these situations. So thank you, sir. Thank you for being an inspiration of diversity, because bringing her into your life and into your family did so much for all of us on this call, because it probably wouldn't have even happened. We maybe have even met her, and vice versa. Kas, thank you for pushing this man to really expand and what you've brought to his life. And I love that you are both so open with your stories, because that's what we need, is more vulnerability and trust in and of sharing our stories. Makes me think of a term that we've just recently talked about. It's called zero trust in my industry. And you don't trust anybody when dealing with finances and technology and whatnot. And I'm like, well, that's a conundrum, because in life, we're supposed to talk about trust, right? So how do you juggle that? Well, one of the biggest things I see people have issues with regards to love in any relationship is trust. And I see the two of you as you're celebrating these years together in Mike's life. And I think, man, talk about unwavering trust. And it's renewing. That energy is renewing. And it needs to be highlighted. It needs to be honored. And your strength and vulnerability, and every single person on this call, by the way, because you are all so beautiful. I can actually see your auras. It's absolutely gorgeous. Your vulnerability and sharing your stories is hands down the most priceless things that we can do as we all move forward together, trying to help others, mentor, teach, grow businesses, things of this nature, grow in and of ourselves at the same time. Don't forget to fill your own cup, because it happens very easily. But I just want to say that this has been absolutely wonderful, and I've really taken from everybody's words today.
Thank you so much. And I am a nature lover. Those of you all know me, you know that I spend a lot of time in nature. I start my day and end my day in nature. And it's because Mother Nature never fails to teach me. And as a young girl, I learned about the importance of being like a tree. Tree just doesn't grow outward and upwards towards the sun. It actually grows dark and deep into moisture. The upward growth of what is showing is only possible because of the inward, downward, darkness-driven growth underneath. It's the roots. It's those deep, dark, sad, unhappy places we get to be that strengthens us. And that's what actually gives us resilience and resistance. The upward growth can break. The upward growth, too many things can happen, but the downward growth, the inside growth, the deepness of that growth will always sustain us. And so Mike and I have always approached life that way. And love and marriage is not just about two of us. It's about our family. It's about our circle. It is about everybody we surround our life with, so that we have those beautiful, amazing, loving, and truly authentic relationships in our life, no matter what happens, because we draw from those around us, right? So it is my opportunity and Mike's opportunity to have this moment of gratitude for everybody who has been willing to take this journey with two crazy people, because if you meet Mike and me in a non-professional setting, I'm 9 and he's 13, right? Literally. That is how we show up in life. And our ability to be that, for your ability to hold space for us and still not judge us, because we can show up professionally, and we do in the professional circles. But that maturity doesn't have to make us give up the inner child in us. The inner child is resilient. The inner child will figure out ways. The inner child will ask, why not? You tell a child you can't do that, the child will say, oh no, I'm going to figure out a way to do it, right? And so having that inner child has been so important as Mike and I have gone through this journey. And our cultural differences have also been a blessing. When Mike and I walk into places, people assume he's my attorney, or I'm his nurse now that he's ill, right? And so we have realized we've never gotten mad about it. We've actually laughed about it, right? So when I brought Mike in for his medical appointment into the US from the Caribbean just 3 weeks ago, the immigration officer in Dallas started asking me a whole bunch of questions after he cleared Mike, right? Mike is in a wheelchair. I smiled and said, how come you're asking me all these questions? And he says, well, because you're traveling as his nurse, I have to clear you. I said, oh, okay. My first job is his wife. Second, I'm his doctor. Third, I'm his nurse. And then I'm his chief cook, his bottle washer, his diaper changer. There's a whole list of things. So yeah, thank you for recognizing one of my roles. But if you check the passport, you'll see the name. Right? He never even bothered to check the passport. He looked at us. Right? So part of our ability to laugh through things and other people's ability to laugh along. He could have gotten angry and done something to me. He was an immigration officer, but he had the sense of humor to laugh and say, oh my God, I'm so sorry, right? So what we find is when we show up from a place of playfulness with no chip on our shoulder, most people are happy to put away the chip on their shoulder and show up to play, because there is that inner child in all of us who just wants to play. And so thank you for everybody who allows us to be ourselves without judgment. Because there are people who say, oh my God, the two of you are so immature. Like, really? Okay, thank you. Because we know that they are living in an artificially constructed world, but we can't make them. They will have to get to where they need to get to on their own. So as we go through this difficult time, knowing that our days are numbered, our ability to be spiritual has been a tremendous strength. I will always say, no matter what you have, if you don't have spirituality, you're missing something that anchors you to something much larger, that gives you a sense of purpose and gives you meaning in the darkest of times. So our spirituality is allowing us to take this journey and truly not be judgmental. I feed him when we're in restaurants. He's born and raised American. He's not used to it. He's like, people are going to think something. I said, I don't care what people think. You need to eat. I need to make sure you eat. Isn't it fun when I feed you? Right? And what we can always go back to, Mike and I didn't date. We met as friends. We were best friends. He knew I was not from a dating culture, so he proposed to me. We dated. Every Thursday was our date day, but we dated after marriage. So he respected my culture enough. And I didn't know, what would I do for dating? You take me out to eat, and then what do we do? That doesn't make any sense, right? And so having that friendship and building everything on that friendship, having that trust, knowing we had each other's back, that's lasting. And so we feel so blessed that the circle around us at that time saw that, encouraged it. We went back to the university and got married at the university chapel, because that's where we met. That's where we became friends. In Indiana, by the way, in Terre Haute, Indiana.
Yes.
So to Indiana State University, where we met, where everything started, to Chicago, where we moved. I got a job and moved. And Mike was still finishing up. He took a Greyhound bus and showed up at the AT&T office and said, I'm not leaving until you agree to marry me, because I'd been saying no. I said, marriages in the United States don't last. Friendship is forever. Why would I trade something permanent and deep for something transient? And his parents tried to talk me into it. Everybody tried talking me into it. And I kept saying, this friendship is so precious. I am not risking it. And he actually took a Greyhound bus and came to Chicago and told me, I'm not leaving till you agree to marry me.
Go, Mike.
Yep.
Yes.
I love it.
Who's supposed to be helping who here? Are we supposed to be helping you or you're helping us? I just don't know.
I know.
Like, oh my goodness. Just taking it all in.
So
I'm
for,
loving, oh,
go ahead.
I say, I'm loving what you're saying about play and playfulness. And there's now just, in fact, one of my, a woman who went through my same program some years ago, just came out with a book about the importance of play for adults. And there's a point, I think, as adults, we just get into work. And the fact that you two, but now more and more research is coming out like, duh, yeah, it's important to play as adults. And so I think the fact that you two have maintained a playful attitude toward each other and life, and you've done things that are just fun, that you just enjoy, like going dancing and things like that. And the fact that you have been, as a nod to Marquese, been so authentic that you're doing it just because you want to. And I'm loving that. And again, it's a really great example of how doing that helps you weather the storms that then come along. So anyway, I'm really loving that.
And I'm just itching for this to get posted because I want to share it so bad, because we all can learn from this. We all need to hear and see this is true. And we just need it. So thank you.
What a
Thank you
beautiful, beautiful story, Kas. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. It has been an absolute joy having this conversation. This is going to air on our anniversary, where we finish year 26 and start year 27. We are going to step into 27 with a lot of uncertainty, but knowing that we have all the love and our support system around us. A shout out to my fire department students. Mike ran the program. I taught in it for 23 years. And they have all rallied around us, and they've been spending last week trying to figure out safety harnesses and devices that they're going to train me to use and pack it in a suitcase for me to take when I leave, so that while they are not there to come and physically help, they're going to make sure their presence is there to keep me safe too. Being able to help Mike, but at the same time, keep me safe because I can't break. And when I think about the joy of being a professor to all these grown men and women, whether it's US military, public safety, private sector, or not-for-profit, everybody rallying around, our friends, our former co-workers, it just is a testament to the power of love. When we show up authentically in every aspect of life, I feel that we embody I always say my superpower is the courage to love. It doesn't matter who it is. I may be a finance executive. I may be one of a very few who does what I do, but I don't consider that my superpower. My superpower that I acknowledge and recognize is my ability to courageously love and courageously be kind in a world where both of those are looked upon as a weakness. Because I can promise you, I'm able to weather and still be who I am today because of that, because of the ability to love and be kind without thinking about love only in a sexual way, right? Because love is a feeling. It's a feeling of safety, as you said. It's a feeling of coming home. It doesn't matter who it is. And I wish everybody that it doesn't matter from where, it doesn't matter from whom, the more we have a place to go home to, that it's the blessing.